All right, it's 12:01. I think we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to the first 2026 report card for Minnesota's Infrastructure Chapter Spotlight. My name is Hannah Albertus Benham, and I am the 2026 report card chair for Minnesota's report card. And I am kind of today representing the report card as a whole, but we have our roads section or roads chapter authors here to talk about the roads chapter specifically. And the report card in general is brought to you by the Minnesota and Duluth sections of America's Society of Civil Engineers. And we've collaborated on this year's report card effort and wanted to make the report card a little more accessible and carry it forward beyond the release event that we had in April. So I'm very excited to kick things off here. The report card, if you're not familiar, is a tool that ASCE uses to examine current infrastructure, conditions, needs, and assign grades, and then advise on steps to improve it. And it's also an education tool for public industry leaders and politicians. We have the report card here. The full report can be found at the website that you see on your screen. There's also links to that via our ascemn.org website, so our Minnesota section website also has links to the full report and some media coverage and things like that. So yeah, I think that's really all I wanted to mention. There's also in the next slide a link here. You should be able to grab that on your screen or again off of the website. And it's just an intro video. So if you're not familiar with the report card as a whole and just gives a little bit on the overall grades. So that's there as a resource as well. It's about 12 minutes. So I will turn it over to Tim now, who was our roads chapter chair for the report card, and take it away.
Thanks, Hannah. Like Hannah mentioned, my name is Tim Lampkin. I'm a principal transportation engineer with Bolton and Mink. I also led the roads chapter for this year's report card. I was lucky enough to have a nice team great team of engineers really on to help with the chapter. Each of them used their specific skill sets and knowledge base to help shape each of these chapters. You'll see them listed on the screen here, but John and Bruce, they focused on the condition of our infrastructure and kind of dovetailed operations and maintenance. Naveen helped with capacity and safety, and Don helped with funding and future need. Each of them will dive into a little more detail in a second. As most of you know, we've held the grade at a D+. While we've seen many improvements in our grading criteria, there were also many areas that have remained neutral as compared to 2022, and some that have even fallen. So we'll jump into condition, operations, and maintenance. Bruce.
All right, thank you. My name is Bruce Tanquist. I'm an ASCE member with 30 years experience in pavement engineering. These charts are about our pavement condition and remaining life. So you notice in the map on the right, the red indicates low remaining life, 0 to 3 years. There are a significant number of routes in this category. Attention to remaining life is essential to controlling costs and improving long-term performance. The chart on the left represent only federal and state routes, and the dark blue bars are Minnesota trunk highways. So we can see on the left is 2024 percentages considered in poor condition. The middle is 2029 projected, and the right is 2035 projected. So we're seeing kind of an alarming increase in projected percentages in poor condition. And the problem with this, or the main problem, besides kind of the experience of driving on poor roads, is the cost of repair increases dramatically when they get to this level. So we can move on to the next slide. To raise the grade, the previous page focused on state and federal, but we're also concerned about local roads, state, city and county. So we're encouraging local agencies to use asset management programs to manage the long-term health of their infrastructure, increase the focus on pavement structural metrics, repairs that improve smoothness do not necessarily address damage beneath the surface, so prioritizing structural metrics will improve long-term performance. The report also describes successful innovation programs and recommends expanding them. Attention to resilience, life cycle analysis, and risk will reduce life cycle costs. Finally, oversight like that provided by the federal government will improve long-term performance of state highways. Federal government does require states to report performance measures and maintain routes in a state of good repair. So I think that accounts for a lot of the better performance of the federal routes. And I will be happy to answer questions at the end. Thank you.
Thanks, Bruce. Naveen?
Hi, this is Naveen. I'm going to talk about capacity and safety today. So looking at the chart, Minnesota continues to face growing congestion challenges. In 2024, the average auto commuter lost approximately 73 hours annually due to congestion. Congestion also has a direct economic impact. The average commuter lost about $1,598 in 2024 because of wasted time and fuel consumption. This represents a 26% in congestion costs since 2022, indicating that travel demand continues to outpace available roadway capacity. Minnesota ranked 18th worst nationally for urban traffic congestion in 2022 and 16th worst in 2024. These trends highlight the continued need for strategic investments that improve traffic flow and system efficiency. Next slide, please. To raise the grade, Minnesota can improve the roadway and invest in multimodal to increase transportation system capacity. One approach is implementing spot improvements, which target location with recurring congestion. Examples include ramp improvements that can reduce bottlenecks at freeway entrances and exits, intersection and interchange upgrades that improve traffic operations and delays, merging and weaving improvements that can help vehicles enter and exit freeways more safely and efficiently. Additionally, Minnesota is also investing in multimodal transportation options such as Southwest Green Line and Metro Transit Red Line, providing alternatives to driving, which is a good thing to improve capacity. Additionally, enhancing pedestrian and bicycle connections improves accessibility and supports safer, more sustainable travel choices. Together, these investments help move more people and goods while reducing reliance on single occupancy vehicles. Next slide, please. While increasing capacity is important, safety remains the highest priority. Although traffic fatalities have declined from recent highs, roadway safety remains a critical challenge. If you see the graph, Minnesota experienced a peak of 451 fatalities in 2021, reflecting a period of increased crash severity nationwide. Since then, fatal crashes have declined to 429 in 2024 and are currently reported 342 in 2025, showing encouraging progress. However, hundreds of lives continue to be lost each year, emphasizing the need for sustained safety investments. If you look at additional statistics, as of 2023, 56% of fatal crashes occurred on rural roads. And also, we have like 55.4% of fatal crashes occurred on two-way undivided roadways. And also, runway road crashes accounted for 9.2% of fatal crashes. Next slide, please. To raise the grade, Minnesota can significantly reduce serious crashes and fatalities through proven low-cost infrastructure safety improvements. We have one important strategy is to add medians and upgrade existing medians, which help prevent crossover and head-on collisions. Widening shoulders and rumble strips, which alert drivers who drift from their lane due to distraction, which help prevent lane departure crashes. Improve intersection lighting, enhances visibility at night, and better identify approaching vehicles, pedestrians, and roadway features. Installing cable median guardrails help prevent vehicles from crossing the opposing traffic, reducing the severity crashes on divided highways. These improvements are especially important because a majority of Minnesota fatal crashes continue to occur on rural and two-way undivided highways. Together, investments in capacity improvements and safety enhancements help create a transportation system that is safer, more reliable, better equipped to support Minnesota's future growth. If you have any more questions, I'm happy to answer at the end of the presentation. Thank you.
Thanks, Naveen. Don?
Good afternoon. Don DeMars with SRF Consulting Group, longtime ASCE member and 36 years as a roadway and highway designer at SRF. Minnesota has over 143,000 miles of roadways that we maintain. That puts us fourth in the nation for miles of roadways. Let's start with the graph in the middle. The Minnesota State Highway Investment Plan has identified that the needs far outweigh the projected revenues. In fact, MnDOT itself is facing a $1 billion shortfall in funding every year. The investment report also states that city and county engineers have identified another $5 billion of unmet need on top of the $20 billion unmet need that MnDOT has identified over the next 20 years. To the right side of the graph, the local roadway improvement program in 2023 saw a record number of applications for funding. $922 million was requested through 378 applications for project funding. Unfortunately, only 86 of those projects received money, totaling only $103 million, clearly demonstrating unmet need. So over on the left, we'll do a little bit of history about the gas tax revenue anyway. They're simply not keeping pace with demands. The federal gas tax was last raised in 1993. It stands at 18.4 cents a gallon since then. And unfortunately, inflation has took a tremendous bite out of that purchasing power, almost 75% since then, meaning that the purchasing power of that 18.4 cents is less than a nickel. States are being asked to take on a larger and larger share of transportation funding. Minnesota last raised its gas tax in 2008 after the tragic collapse of the 35W Mississippi River Bridge in Minneapolis. That tax was up to about 28 cents a gallon in 2012 and held steady until 2023, when the legislature tied the state gas tax to construction cost inflation, and now it indexes annually and currently stands at 32.6 cents a gallon. If you watch the news, you probably know that roadway funding is constantly under various pressures, from some of them political in nature. In fact, this year's state legislature took a 1-year suspension of the motor vehicle registration tax and then backfilled it with $254 million out of the general fund. Let's hope that was a 1-year anomaly. Currently, in the national news, there continues to be discussion about suspending the federal motor fuel tax due to all of the turmoil going on in the Strait of Hormuz. What that means for us is we must constantly defend our roadway funding. Next slide, please. To raise the grade, the report card really has 2 actionable items related to funding. First and foremost, continue to strive for establishing a sustainable long-term revenues that actually align with the system needs. And then secondly, continue and encourage the use of alternative delivery methods such as design build or construction manager general contractor for some projects to maximize the value those projects could receive. Happy to take questions at the end.
Thanks, Don, Bruce, Naveen, for taking a little deeper dive into the roads chapter. You can find even more detail in the report itself from the link we showed previously, and from the many sources that are also listed in there. If you do take a deeper dive into the data, you'll find that there's a good amount of data at the state and federal level, but not as much at the local level. This is something we're hoping to work on as we prepare for the next report card. So a bit of a shameless plug. If anybody's wanting to help, we'll would love to have you on the team. And it's never too early to start here as we prep for our update in 4 years. For now, we will happily take some questions. If you don't have any right now, any of us would be happy to answer via our emails.
Yeah, it looks like there's one question in the chat so far.
Chat. Let's get that open up here. Transportation infrastructure often competes with many other urgent priorities for policymakers and the public. From a storytelling perspective, how can a civil engineer better communicate the everyday consequences of underinvesting in roads so Minnesotans understand the urgency before a road reaches a crisis point? Thank you, Ariel. Good question. I guess my perspective is talk to your legislatures, keep the conversation open and always talking. Don, I saw you jumped on.
I would say we can make our pleas and our stories very personable when we speak with legislators, the public, whomever. I can actually cite a story from a few years ago. My daughter was driving down a road, hit a pothole, blew her tire out and bent the rim. You hear about dollars annually that it costs citizens. That's a real world example of what that means to each and every one of us.
Thank you.
I think there's some statistics in the report card too on the cost to Minnesotans. Is that correct, Tim?
There is.
Do you recall that number? Have that in front of you?
Oh, I don't have it in
look
front
at
of me.
it too.
Yeah, I don't have it in front of me, but there is.
I think it's around $1,000. At the national level, they also have a similar number calculated. It's more like $1,500 that it costs people just to drive and maintain their vehicle every year, and kind of the cost of roads to people. So that's one really easy way to communicate that to legislators or the public, is like, this costs you money, you would save money and be safer. We all would be safer, and we all rely on these roads to get us not only get us places, but get our food places, to carry all the goods and services that are needed across the state. So it's not just a It's not just a usability question or a cost to consumer question. Next question from Eric. How is road service condition being assessed?
I can answer that one. Yeah, our pavement management section at MnDOT does this. They have high-tech vans that cover all of the trunk highways. They do scans which collect data like smoothness, distress measurements like cracking and rutting, as well as video. And then this data is compiled into different indices like that indicate smoothness or kind of the general health in terms of distresses like cracking, rutting, and then they plot the highways in color in terms of either smoothness or remaining life. And I put a link to their webpage. You can look for the pavement condition annual report on that page, which goes into detail.
Thanks, Bruce. And then a follow-up to that are local non-state aid roads being assessed.
There are, well, MnDOT does scan like some county and local routes, but that data is provided to the counties or cities if they're requesting it, and MnDOT does not provide reports on that data.
Yeah, Bruce, I wonder if you could speak a little bit about the asset management program and how that data then gets used and how they prioritize things.
That's
something you could speak on?
Yeah, I don't, that's not kind of what I work on.
Sure.
I think we can find out data from MnDOT and get back to you on that.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know if anybody else has anything to add there. Any other questions? Anybody want to come off mute and ask their question? Feel free. Otherwise, if there's no more, we can go ahead and wrap up. Definitely want to thank everybody for joining us. If you do check out the website, there is, you should see a calendar of additional chapter spotlights. So, and of course I don't have that in front of me. Let me grab, oh, there it is. Thank you. The next one will be next month on the 18th of August. Another noontime one, and we'll get that registration link out to the members as soon as we can. We're also trying to reach out to other organizations. So so just bear with us as we get everybody on board, but we will have all of these recorded and posted on the website afterwards. So keep an eye out for that. And I know want to get a communication out to everybody afterwards so that those who weren't able to join us today can view the recording and participate that way. And then if you have any feedback on today's presentation or future presentations that you'd like to see, go ahead and email the report card email that was on the last slide, report card at ascemn.org. And happy to take any suggestions there for future spotlights or any other report card related requests there. But appreciate everybody's time and thank you so much for participating. Thank you to our presenters.
Thank
Of
you.
course.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.